Evening, darlings, and welcome to episode 11 of Greenwood Talks. Now, we have two very serious questions to get to, so I'm just going to sort of dive in as much as I can. So, they're both anonymous questions. The first is, could I have some advice? There are two of my friends that are great people and I love them, but sometimes they isolate and pick on me. Some days they're great and including, but others they sort of group up together and be nasty towards me. When I try and ask what I've done wrong, they don't answer me and sometimes they'll walk away from me. It makes me feel terrible. I don't know what to do. I think in a lot of these situations, communication is sort of key, um, and if you can, you need to talk to them about this because it's very serious. And I've noticed that these sort of small behaviors have a way of escalating over time. So even if you've known them for years and they're super close friends and you know that they're good people, which of course makes this harder, they still have the potential to do very terrible, hurtful things to you. And if they sort of are allowed to do it time and time again, and you don't complain, and you allow the behavior to continue, it does sort of psychologically tell them that it's okay for them to do. Now, if you have mentioned to them that it's sort of hurtful and it seems like perhaps you have and they've walked away, well, this seems like a way of them sort of cutting off having to deal with the fact that they're doing these things to you, and that's not proper friendship behavior. So it's going to be hard, darling, but you need to talk with them, and if they are not willing to make a change, and then certainly if they say that they are, but then they don't, you need to find some new friends. And this is terrible because, of course, you have a history with these people, and you know that they're not bad people, which, if only that made it easier, but in fact it makes it harder. So, um, I'd start looking for new friends, and I know it can be very difficult depending on sort of where you live and your interests and sort of where you are emotionally, but you have to put yourself first, darling. I can't stress that enough. Life is too short to be dealing with putting yourself in painful situations all the time, and so you sort of have to stand up for yourself, and um, and so I hope that it does work out and that you can talk to them and that they notice that the behavior is a problem and they make that change. But be prepared for the fact that it may not happen. Particularly, it sounds like you're quite perhaps young, and I'm sorry if that's not the case. I don't mean to judge harshly or anything. But I know that sort of when you're younger, these friendships can be so much more powerful, and it's so easy to let those people that we love sort of treat us a little unfairly just because we do care so much for them. And don't do that to yourself, darling. Just don't do it. It's better to just make the change, and the consequences are, of course, sometimes painful now, but it will save you so much pain and aggravation in the future. And I can't stress enough just how important it is for your mental health and your own growth. So try to find someone out there who can support you, or that knows what you're going through, and help you through this. And if you want to talk, of course, by all means, send me a message, and we can talk more about this. So I'm going to move on to the next question just because it's sort of equally serious. So the other one says, I'm in a bad situation. I have some things that I have to pay for, but I have no way to make money. I can't drive, and I can't ask my parents for money, and I'm too young to get a job. I've offered commissions, but nobody has taken me up on the offer. How do I make a decent amount of money quickly? Darling, I would love the secret to making a decent amount of money quickly. It's just not something you can usually do without resorting to very unsavory acts, which I don't suggest because, of course, they can be very damaging to you emotionally, not just in the short term, but also in the long term. So please don't go down that route with yourself. Just don't do it. Um, as far as everything else, oh dear Lord, this is so hard. Um, I'm not sure, of course, what your personal situation is and why it is you can't ask your parents for money. I assume that either they're unable or unwilling to give it to you, or that they would sort of use it as emotional weaponry against you, which of course is also terrible. Um, and you are quite young, which makes it even worse. I All I can say is if you send me sort of your commission information, I will happily reblog it. If there's any other things that you can think of other than just commissions that you could do um, to sort of sell your stuff, I'm happy to help support you on that, darling. And if you send me um, your email, we can talk about maybe some strategies and sort of find out what it is that we can do, and depending on how much it is and what you need it for and when you need it by, we can make a plan to try to see if we can't get you this money that you need before it's too late. So please send me any information that you can so that I can help you with this, darling. I'm sure there's many people out there who'd be willing to help you as well. Um, so please continue to reach out to me because I want to give back to you um, very deeply. So good luck to both of you. You're both going through some very difficult times, and if there's anything else I can do, please message me, because if there's anything that I can do in my power to help, of course, I want to do it for you. So cheers, darlings, best of luck, and until next time, ta-ta.